We are starting the year off with just a ton of news stories. There is a lot to cover. I'm going to go over two different stories today, one from Queens and another one about a FBI seizure of the largest seizure of homemade explosives in history of this country. So I'm going to go into those stories. There's a lot to talk about today. So if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and let's get started. I'm going to be talking about a lot of stuff today, so make sure you check it out. So last night, after the New Orleans attack and the bombing at the Trump Tower in Vegas, we also got a shooting in New York City. Now, this does seem to be gang related. It does not seem to be like a terrorist attack like the New Orleans one, and we still aren't sure about the attack in Vegas. We're still getting updates as to that situation and exactly what he planned there. But we have this from Nick Sortor: mass shooting in New York City. At least 11 people have been shot in Queens, New York at an Amazura nightclub. So I'm going to jump over to this article from CBS. Right now, CBS is reporting that only 10 people have been shot. To be exact, they were all teenagers, 6 women and 4 boys. Well, I shouldn't say women if they're teenagers. 6 girls and 4 boys. So Queens mass shooting leaves 10 teens wounded outside New York City event space. So this is reported as a mass shooting in Jamaica, Queens, left 10 teenagers hurt when police say several suspects opened fire outside a venue. I hate the word several because depending on who's saying it, it could mean a lot of things. When I hear several, I hear 7, but they're reporting it was 4 people. So you could just say 4. It happened just after 11 p.m. on New Year's Day outside the Amazura Concert Hall on 144th Place. Police are now searching for 4 males who fired into a crowd of about 15 people standing outside the event space. Last night in Queens, a memorial for a teen lost to gun violence turned to horror when gunmen opened fire on the crowd, including several young people who are now hospitalized. This cannot be our normal. We are working with authorities to bring the perpetrators to justice. So the individuals did flee in a white vehicle. I believe they have a description of the vehicle down here. Let's keep reading through. Police said about 90 people were inside the address for a private event. Police sources told CBS News New York they were attending a vigil for a 16-year-old. I'm not going to be able to say that name. His name's right here. I don't know how to pronounce that. Last name Mungo, who was shot and killed last October. Sources said his mother booked the hall for what would have been his birthday. The venue was at capacity and a line of about 15 people were waiting outside. Police said that's when 4 men walking down 91st Avenue approached the crowd and fired about 30 rounds. They then ran towards 143rd Place, where they got into a light-colored sedan with out-of-state plates, according to police. So these individuals have not been caught. They are still at large, and it's just a really sad story. They're there for a memorial for someone who had been lost to gun violence, and here they are, getting shot at. It's not cool, not right, obviously, and I mean, there's not a whole lot you can do in New York. If the bad guys have guns and you don't, then that's that. How do you defend yourself? I'm a staunch advocate for the Second Amendment. I believe that if people were there and they were armed, that this would have gone down differently. But that's not the world we live in right now. Maybe someday New York and California will wake up and realize that guns save people's lives and criminals will get them no matter what laws you make. And it's just an absolute tragedy. So as of right now, the 10 teenagers are expected to live. They are expected to recover from their wounds. I don't believe anyone has died. I have not seen any reporting that anyone has died from this shooting. But again, another tragic event following the new year. This happened just before the new year. The FBI says it has made the largest seizure of explosives in history after a raid on a U.S. farm. Now, this story is pretty interesting. This guy was planning a massive attack. So let's go down here. The FBI says it has uncovered more than 150 homemade bombs on a farm in Virginia in the United States, and what is thought to be the largest seizure of explosives in the agency's history, according to the court documents. Agents allegedly found the explosives while searching the family home of 36-year-old machine shop worker Brad Spayford on December 17th, after being tipped off by a neighbor that he was stockpiling weapons and homemade ammunition. In an initial affidavit filed on the court December 10th, FBI Task Force Officer Raquelon Cardwell said an anonymous source had reported they first noticed Mr. Spafford handling explosive devices in July 2021 when he disfigured his hand while working with a homemade bomb. Okay, well, I would actually like to know more about that, because that was now 4 years ago. We are now in 2025, so he was handling homemade bombs in 2021 and the FBI knew? Interesting. FBI seems to know a lot and doesn't do anything, right? A document then filed in the U.S. State's District Court in Virginia on Monday by the U.S. Attorney Jessica D. Alber described Mr. Spafford as an extreme danger to the community. Mr. Spafford was charged on December 10th with the unlawful possession of unregistered short-barrel rifle and could face additional charges over the explosives, which each carry a maximum sentence of 10 years imprisonment. Well, you do the math there. If he gets the maximum for each one, that's 150 years in prison just on the explosives alone. Not to mention all the other crimes that he's allegedly committed. The court document said some explosives were assessed by FBI agents as pipe bombs, which were mostly found in a detached garage organized by color, and others were located in a backpack in a bedroom, which Mr. Spafford shares with his wife and 2 young children. The backpack has been labeled No Lives Matter, or sorry, it says hashtag No Lives Matter, the court filing alleged. The court document also said that some of the explosives were preloaded into an apparent wearable vest along numerous tools and materials for manufacturing explosives, a homemade mortar, and riot gear. So this guy was clearly planning something. They haven't released the motive yet, but clearly he was planning something. He's making all these different explosives. He's preparing a vest to go wherever he wants to go with that. Homemade mortars, riot gear. This guy was planning something big. So thankfully the FBI stopped him before he managed to carry out whatever he was planning. The filing added that Mr. Spafford's freezer contained a jar of HMTD, a highly unstable explosive device photographed by FBI officials while stored alongside food labeled "Do Not Touch." Ms. Aber said the document that the HMTD is so unstable it can explode merely as a result of friction or temperature changes. So this guy was handling some crazy stuff right with his family. His family's in the same building. That's absolutely insane. His home has also had a notebook of recipes for making explosives, including grenades, according to the filing. So this guy was pretty well versed in bomb making, and he's been doing it for a while. I mean, he lost 3 fingers trying to figure it out. The court document alleged that Mr. Spafford had used pictures of President Joe Biden for shooting target practice at a local shooting range and stated that he believed political assassinations should be brought back. So this guy was planning something. You know, I'd like to know what he was planning. But a neighbor has allegedly told FBI agents that Mr. Spafford had discussed fortifying his property with a 360-degree turret for a 50 caliber firearm on the roof. This guy was absolutely crazy. In her initial affidavit, Ms. Cardwell also said that Mr. Spafford had created a go box, which he had filled with medical supplies, weapons, ammunition, food, and water stored in the back of a car. In a separate filing on Tuesday, Mr. Spafford's attorneys defended him as a hardworking family man with no criminal record while arguing for him to be released from custody. A judge initially agreed to Mr. Spafford to be released with a $25,000 bond in the custody of his mother while wearing an electronic ankle monitor, but prosecutors filed for an emergency stay to delay that order on the basis that he posed extraordinary risks of public safety. Yeah, that's insane. What? A judge initially agreed. I'm going to read that again. A judge initially agreed for Mr. Spafford to be released with a $250,000 bond into custody of his mother while wearing an electronic ankle monitor. That is insane. Are you serious? A highlight there that for you guys watching. So a judge almost let this guy go out on a $25,000 bond. Who knows what he would have been able to do if that happened? That's absolutely idiotic. What the I'm gonna try not to cuss. YouTube doesn't like when I cuss. It doesn't share my videos when I cuss. But what? Absolutely insane. But I'm not surprised given our government's track record. That is beyond me. It is insanely easy to take those ankle monitors off, and who knows if he has anything stockpiled somewhere else as a backup, so he could escape and then go commit as whatever attack he was trying to commit. That is absolutely stupid and irresponsible. To say the least. The release order unreasonably places the dangerous burden of policing the defendant to ensure he does not again make volatile explosive materials on both his mother and the pre-trial officers who must periodically inspect his residence. Yeah, this guy is clearly dangerous. You should not release him to the care of anyone besides a prison. So that's the story. That's what we have so far. So the judge, so this guy almost got released on bond, and he was clearly planning something major. So this is all happening with the new year. This is not how I was expecting the new year to start. I was looking forward to Donald Trump getting in and hopefully fixing some stuff. But this has just been a terrible start to the new year. Not for me personally, just for the country. And I hope things turn around for the better. But as of right now, we're just getting terrible story after terrible story, tragedy after tragedy. And I hope we get a handle on things. I said this in my last video, but I sincerely hope we get a handle on things. This country is destined for so much better, and I hate to see the state that it's in. But that's the news on these stories so far. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'll be posting more videos throughout the day. There's so much news to get through today. So if you haven't already, please like, share the video, comment if I'm missing anything, comment if there's a story you want me to cover. And other than that, please follow me on Twitter, or sorry, X, formerly Twitter, at Tyler Rittenauer. And I appreciate you guys tuning in to watch. Stay informed, stay cautious, and just be aware of what's going on. And if you live in a place where you can, stay strapped. Thank you guys for watching. Peace out.